Welcome to the channel. In this video, I'm basically going to be describing version 2 of the Atlas build. The original Atlas build will be linked in the description below. Version 2 is not necessarily better than version 1 or vice versa, but they kind of play slightly differently, so it warrants its own separate video. The main difference between version 1 and version 2 is that version 1 has more damage than version 2, but version 2 has more survivability, more battlefield mobility. And so that was the major problem with version 1, was if you get caught, you couldn't get out. And if someone was running, you couldn't catch them. Version 2, you still won't be able to catch those people, unfortunately, but you will be able to relocate and will be able to survive a lot more in 1vx scenarios. In terms of 1v1, I still think version 1 is superior just due to the fact that relocation and increasing our tankiness hasn't really been a problem in 1v1 scenarios. But in 1vx scenarios, being able to choose where you want to fight, how many people you want to fight at the same time, and all of those factors, those are very significant and coming out on top of those battles. You will lose some of the burst damage, as I'll get into that, as we are switching out Mighty Gavel for clear out. But at the same time, the fight's going to take longer, but the chances that you come out on top is going to be a lot higher with this version 2 build. So depending on what you want to go for, you can either choose to follow this build or the one that I posted previously. There's going to be gameplay at the end, so you all can see exactly how the build fights in practice. Right now, the concept of an Atlas build is still the same. We're still a combat tank, so we go in there, fight, melee, hand-to-hand combat. It's very hard for them to kill you in that way, so the theme is still the same. It's still an Atlas build, it's just a different version, and it plays slightly differently. So, let's get started.
All right, so let's see. Let's go over what I'm wearing. So for all the clips I'll show you in this video, this is my full layout. For all previous videos, I was using this sword. I upgraded to a 591 sword from a 573 sword. And I had another hammer that was 583, but this is my PvE hammer. I haven't updated it yet, but I think I salvaged the other one. Anyways, I was not using these weapons that I have for these videos, so I will be doing more damage than actually anticipated because of better weapons. And so these are the weapons that I currently have. Main thing with the hammer is the keen speed. So on 30%, gain 3 seconds of haste. Gain 30% haste for 3 seconds on a critical hit. There we go. That's what I want to say. Anyways, yeah, that's extremely important, and we'll go into that a little bit later. I don't really care too much about the perks on this. This was just a very strong sword that I got, and then just all faction gear with this Wilderness Ward on top. And we may go in for the 580 quest shield, but I haven't done that quest yet. I hate PvE. No offense to all the PvE players, I'm just a PvP player by convention. This you get from a quest as well, extremely powerful. Main thing you want is the 9% maximum health, and that's very potent. This as well, main perk you want with this is going to be the 9.3% max stamina, and what that's going to do is allow you to dodge 3 times instead of 2 times. Over here you want regeneration on this perk. That is a must-have so that you can heal passively along with your health. That increases your overall survivability. We have regen pots, and I don't use these pots. I use these infused pots. And in Battlegrounds I use the Battlegrounds food, or Outpost Rush, sorry. And then we have Constitution food. I use this when I'm in open world, but basically just open world. And so these are my stats now. I have the Constitution food set up. So on my sword bar, I have about 244. Yeah, 244-ish. I could have pushed for the max, and I might respec to actually push for that. But I usually don't run the Constitution food because I'm mainly an outpost rush, so it wouldn't really make too much of a difference. On this bar over here, I have about 208, still the same, but 232 because the shield Constitution doesn't translate over as well. So now for weapon mastery. Sword and shield remains the same. Everything you really want is still going to be the same. Main thing on this side, you want, this Achilles heel to decrease their movement speed on third light attack. This is extremely huge. This cleanse with the heavy attack, because when people hit you with rend, it's gonna really do you dirty. So you want to get that off you, and especially with Void Gauntlet coming in with a lot of stacks, you want to purify that off you. And then obviously the most important passive in this whole entire tree is the mobility. This allows you to move side to side to dodge projectiles so they don't take up your stamina. All the other moves are the same as I've said. Shield Rush versus Leaping Strike. The main thing I want from Shield Rush is going to be this weekend, and that's very important to your overall tankiness. You hit someone with this weekend, and then you switch over and you hit them with the weekend from the Warhammer, and it's extremely powerful. And it also is a guaranteed snare versus this is only a snare when you hit them from the back. And getting backstabs can be pretty challenging. Yep, you want all this stuff. I've talked about this previously. This passive over here allows you to get the backstab off of your heavy attack. And then armor, all of these. We don't want this because this is mainly a PvE morph or PvE skill. If you're taking a lot of hits on your shield bar, enough for this to even be significant in terms of reducing your cooldown, they're probably going to break your guard anyways, so you don't want that. This, we don't really use our shield bar for much damage. Really, that's our Warhammer thing. This is mainly a setup bar and a, keep our defense high as we wait for cooldown. So this dealing more damage doesn't really do much for us. Especially in this patch, we're starting to transition more into using heavy attacks on our shield bar more often versus finishing off with the light attacks just to make sure that we stay clean of all these debuffs that have been circulating. This move, I was using this before, but then did some testing and it doesn't give you more stamina per person hit. It's just a flat out 15 stamina when you use an attack with the shield, so shield rush or shield bash, and I didn't really like that fact. I thought if I hit 3 people it should give me 45 stamina, but that's not the case, so we don't go with that. And that's what we have for the shield bar, and that's my full setup. The Warhammer, okay, this is where we change quite a bit of moves. So, first things first, we want all the passives in the Juggernaut tree except for this. And in the first iteration of the Atlas build, we used pretty much all the passives here, including this. And the reason we had this before is because we didn't have Aftershock. So this applied a status effect on people so that this passive over here would give us 15% more damage on any ability that we use. So the main difference between version 1 and version 2 is that version 2 we're not going to use Mighty Gavel. So this is the decrease in damage I was talking about. Not necessarily from the passives, but from this burst damage from Mighty Gavel. I mean, it just hits so hard. I think this is like the highest tool tipping ability in the game. But yeah, it just hits so hard, especially when you learn how to get this move to hit. It's very potent. However, we're transitioning to more of a crowd crusher side, and the reason we went with Clear Out instead of Wrecking Ball was for the heal and for its overall utility. So the AoE on Clear Out is significantly higher than that of Wrecking Ball. So more people hit, more people healed, or more people that get hit healing for more is what I meant to say. And the knockback allows you to relocate, and that's very significant when people are trying to CC you and stop you from finishing people who have been knocked down and all of that jazz. But it does not guarantee any damage as a follow-up besides a light attack. And that's very important. As you start charging that heavy, it's not gonna, like, you can still hit with the heavy, but it's not guaranteed. So if you follow with the light attack, we'll get this passive over here. So after you hit them, we have aftershock, which is going to basically slow them down for 4 seconds, which also applies a status effect. So everything you do after you hit them with an ability is going to hit 15% harder when you have this passive. And obviously everything in here is going to heal you for a portion of the damage that you do. But this passive over here is what also makes you extremely fast, or not extremely fast, but faster than how you would be before. Because after you hit with this clear out and you follow with the guaranteed light attack, then your movement speed is increased as they're slowed down. And that combination allows you to basically stick on top of them with light attacks. So for a solid like 3 seconds, you can continue light attacking them. And if they don't dodge out of it and they just try and walk out of it, which they would have been able to do before, they'll get hit with those light attacks. So that's how you can pretty much catch people who are low health that you've hit with the clear out. So clear out's utility is higher than that of Mighty Gavel, but it's less damage than Mighty Gavel, and I believe it's less damage than Wrecking Ball. Now, I'm not entirely sure what Wrecking Ball guarantees. I would have to do those testings, but clear out does not guarantee any follow-up with any ability or any heavy attack besides a light attack. But that light attack will give us that increased speed, which will allow us to follow up light attack provided they don't dodge. Going over just a common setup over here. So armor pen, reduce cooldowns on heavy attacks, increasing the damage that you do after taking damage. So this is why you want to trade your heavy attacks with people attacking you so you can hit super hard and execute damage on heavy attacks. Grit on heavy attack, so this reduces the amount of damage that you take as you're charging up your heavy attack, which combos in with this, so you can really power through a lot of the attacks that you're taking, and of course empowerment on your heavy attacks to make them hit harder. So our main DPS is coming from our heavy attacks, versus before it was a combination of heavy attacks and Mighty Gavel, so that's the main difference. Shockwave as well. We know Shockwave, we've been using it from the very get-go. It also applies another weaken, so this is the combo weaken that you want. This weaken plus the other weaken from the sword and shield bar makes them hit just like a wet noodle if you can get both of these to hit at the same time. They both last for 10 seconds. So that is how we also maintain tankiness in melee range. And then increase the radius, the heal, Path of Destiny. So we're going to take Path of Destiny all the way down to the very get-go. The bottom, just decrease the amount of, decrease the cooldown per person hit. This is not really, I just need it because I needed the aftershock. The rest, the other, like you need one on the bottom tree in order to get this, and this we don't. This is like absolutely useless if you ask me, because we just switched our sword and shield bar and get rid of that with just one heavy attack. So you don't need this. I didn't want to take Clara all the way down to the bottom and waste 2 valuable skills on, cooldown reduction and haste that I can get just from light attacking. It's less haste, but it's still haste and allow us to connect our light attacks. The other passives as well. This active cooldown with the debuff, we still have that on our heavy attacks, and we have our shield for this blocking, and then reduce damage while sprinting. I haven't really experimented with that, but everything else is just way too valuable for me to worry about reducing my damage while sprinting. So that sums it up. That's the main thing that I've changed with this build compared to the version 1 of the Atlas build. Is just decreasing the amount of damage, increasing our survivability. And the thing with this is all these heal you, and these are all good CCs and staggers. So this is a stagger, these are hard CCs, so this allows you to relocate and gives you the speed that you need in order to reposition yourself for 1vx.